Today, we are going to discuss the political ideas of political science. Among them, rights is an important political idea. Today's lesson is about political ideas, rights and kinds of rights. We all know that rights are the powers of the individual. The powers of the individual over himself, his body and his thoughts are called as the rights. We all know about the rights of the state, the rights of a leader, the rights of various institutions like Supreme Court, High Court, Parliament. Likewise, individual also have certain rights. The powers of the individual over himself, his body and his thoughts are called as the rights. In fact, the modern age is also known as the age of rights and freedoms. There are various revolutions in the modern age that have enhanced the scope of rights and freedoms. Take for example, the England Revolution in 1688, the American War of Independence in 1776, the French Revolution in 1789, the Russian Revolution of 1917, the Chinese Revolution of 1948. These are the various revolutions that modern age has experienced, and these revolutions have witnessed a widespread emergence of rights to the individuals. So, that is why modern age is also known as the age of freedoms, age of rights. Keeping these things in its mind, the United Nations has brought out a Declaration of Rights, Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. On December 10th, 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was declared by United Nations. In commemoration of that, every year on 10th December, we celebrate Human Rights Day. So, United Nations also has brought out a Charter of Rights, political rights, economic rights, cultural rights, developmental rights, civil rights. So, these are the rights that are incorporated in one chapter as human rights. In 1948, December 10th, United Nations has brought out a UN Charter of Rights, that is called UN Declaration of Rights. Now, let us see what are the definitions to rights. An important philosopher of 19th century, Harold J. Lasky. Harold J. Lasky has defined rights as rights are those conditions of social life without which no man can seek himself at his best. If any individual wants to become his best, wants to develop himself and to progress himself, certain conditions are required. These conditions of social life are called as the rights. Without these rights, human development is impossible, human progress is impossible, according to H. J. Lasky. So, rights are those conditions of social life without which no man can seek to himself at his best. This is the definition given by Harold J. Lasky. Another important philosopher of 19th century, Ernest Barker. Ernest Barker is a great philosopher who has written a good number of books. In one of his books, he has defined rights as rights are the external conditions necessary for the greatest possible development of the capacities of the personality. In every human being, there are certain capacities. These capacities are to be maximized. How to maximize these capacities? Rights are the external conditions that provide an opportunity to maximize the human capacities. So, rights are the external conditions necessary for the greatest possible development of the capacities of every personality. We all know that every person has some capacity or the other. These are called as power, inner powers and outer powers. So, these powers, by using these powers, every individual develop himself. To maximize these powers, or to maximize these capacities, certain external conditions are required. So, those external conditions that are guaranteed by the state and that are guaranteed by the constitution are called as the rights. So, according to Ernest Barker, rights are the external conditions necessary for the greatest possible development of the capacities of the individual. So, these are the broad definitions given by different philosophers. The first one is given by Ernest Barker, H. J. Lasky. The second one is given by Ernest Barker. Now, let us see what are the theories of rights. There are a good number of theories of rights. Broadly, we can categorize into 6 types of theories: the natural rights theory, the legal rights theory, the historical theory of rights, the idealistic theory of rights, the Marxian theory of rights, and social welfare theory of rights. So, these are different theories of rights. Now, let us discuss these theories in detail. The first one is natural rights theory. This natural rights theory was given by John Locke. John Locke, in his great book Two Treatises on Civil Government, written in 18th century, 17th and 18th century. In fact, he was born in 17th century and he passed away in 18th century. So, in his book, The Two Treatises on Civil Government, he has envisaged the theory of natural rights. According to this theory, man is born with certain rights. Every individual is born with certain rights. These are called as natural rights. They are as natural as the human organs, as natural as human organs. That means, from cradle to grave, every individual enjoys these rights. There are 3 prominent rights according to John Locke: right to life, right to liberty, right to property. Right to life, right to liberty, right to property. These 3 rights are called as natural rights, because by virtue of his birth, every individual gets these rights, and individual can enjoy these rights till his death. From birth to death, every individual enjoys these rights. According to John Locke, these rights are not given by family, these rights are not given by religion, these rights are not given by society, these rights are not given by either a state or a constitution, but these rights are the gift of the nature. Individual gets these rights by virtue of his birth. So, these rights are called as the natural rights, but the responsibility of implementing the rights lies on the state. When the state fails to respect and protect these rights, individual can revolt against the state, according to John Locke. That is how John Locke says rights are quite natural as human organs, and right to life, right to liberty, right to property are the 3 important rights that every individual has in his lifetime. So, these are called as the natural rights. The second theory of rights is called legal rights theory. Legal rights theory, and legal rights theory opposes the natural rights theory. It opposes natural rights theory because, according to legal rights theory, nature cannot give rights. Nature only gives the birth and life, but it is the government, it is only the constitution, it is only the law that provides the rights, because law is the giver of rights and law is the protector of rights. So, without protection, rights has no meaning. Simply giving the rights and without any protection is of no use. That is why, according to Jeremy Bentham is considered as the father of legal rights theory, and he says legal rights are those rights given by the constitution. Once the constitution gives these rights, the constitution also has a duty to implement the rights. So, that is why legal rights only are the real rights, and legal rights are guaranteed by the constitution. Take for example, in the Indian constitution, part 3 of the Indian Constitution from article 12 to 35. The Constitution guarantees certain freedoms and rights to the people. Article 14 says right to equality. Article 19 says right to freedom. Article 23 right against exploitation. Article 25 right to religious freedom, and Article 29 and 30 right to cultural and educational rights, and Article 32 right to constitutional remedies. So, this is how the Constitution guarantees certain rights. The rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution or that are guaranteed by a law, by a concerned law, are called as the legal rights. Legal rights stand for scrutiny by the judiciary. Judiciary protect the legal rights. Natural rights cannot be protected by individual alone, by the state sometimes, but legal rights, the state cannot evade the responsibility of protecting the rights, because legal rights are the written guarantees of the Constitution. That is why the Constitution provides these rights and protects these rights. That is why they are called as the legal rights. So, the rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution are called as the legal rights, and the theory that advocates that only those rights are real which are given by the Constitution and law are called as the legal rights theory. And the third important theory is the historical theory of rights. According to historical theory of rights, rights are the results of struggles. People have struggled for getting the rights. The government cannot simply give the rights. People have to struggle for the rights. Rights are the result of revolutions. Rights are the result of many social and political movements. By engaging themselves in various political movements, political revolutions, people have gone to the extent of getting these rights from the history. So, that is why historical theory of rights believes that people have got these rights as a result of their struggle against the oppression, against the patriarchy, against exploitation, and they demanded rights and the state guaranteed the rights. The state by itself cannot guarantee any rights to the people, unless otherwise the people demand for it. When people demand for the rights, then the state guarantees the rights. Every right, behind every right there is a movement, behind every right there is a revolution behind it. So, historical theory believes the rights are the result of the long drawn struggles for their demands of the people. So, that is how we got the rights like right to property, right to equality, right to freedom, right to religious freedoms. So, these are all the rights. We got these rights because we have made a struggle for these rights. We all know that in Indian national movement, we struggled for our rights. As a part of Indian national movement, we have demanded more rights from the British government. Likewise, elsewhere in the world, everywhere in the world, for every right people get, there is a long drawn struggle behind that. So, that is how it is the historical evidence, revolutions, movements, social movements and political movements that have resulted in the guaranteeing of these rights. This is called as the historical theory of rights. And the fourth one is the idealistic theory of rights. This idealistic theory of rights is propagated by T.H. Green, Immanuel Kant and others. According to this theory, state is powerful, state is a moral institution, state knows the welfare of the people. That is the state that guarantees the rights to the people, and people should not demand for rights. Whatever the freedoms that individual require, the state recognizes it and the state identifies it and it provides them to the people. So, state are the provider and individuals only enjoy the rights. So, this theory believes the state is greater, individual should not fight with the state, state is sovereign, State is a moral institution. State knows the well-being of the people. So, people should have confidence on the state. People should be obedient to the state. And by keeping their obedience with the state and obedient to the law, people can get their rights from the state. So, this is how idealistic theory of rights believes that people should be disciplined, people should be patriotic, people should not challenge the state, and state is sovereign, and state is a moral institution. State knows what to give and what not to give to the people. That is how people should get their rights as a result of state's generosity. State is generous in giving the rights to the people. State knows well what to give and what not to give. That is how the state provides the rights to the people. So, this is the theory given by various idealist philosophers like T.H. Green, Immanuel Kant and others. So, this is called as the idealistic theory of state, theory of rights. And the fifth one is Marxian theory of rights. This is the theory given by Karl Marx. Karl Marx is the greatest political philosopher of 19th century who belongs to Germany, who has experienced all the evils of industrial revolution, and he is always pro-poor. According to Karl Marx, in every society there are two economic classes, the rich people and the poor people. The rich people become richer and richest by exploiting the poor people. Thereby the poor people become poorer and poorest and destitutes. According to Karl Marx, in a capitalist society where the rich people are very prosperous and poor people suffer from poverty, in such a society, in a capitalist society, rich people only enjoy the rights and poor people have to perform the duties. The duties are performed by poor people and the rights are enjoyed by the rich people. So, this is how the society is classified into two economic classes, the richer class and the poorer class. The rich class always tries to exploit the poor people, and the rich class uses the government and state as the instrument in their hands to exploit further the poor people. So, this is how state is an instrument in the hands of rich people to exploit the poor people. So, this is how the state acts as an instrument in the hands of rich people to exploit the poor people, and poor people only perform the duties, but rich people enjoy the rights and freedoms. And for this, Karl Marx has given an idea of socialist revolution. In a society where exploitation is rampant, the workers of the world should unite and struggle, and they should dethrone the bourgeoisie class. The bourgeoisie class means the rich classes, and capture the power. That revolution is called as the socialist revolution. In such a socialist revolution, poor people also get rights, and there will not be any classes in the society. That is a classless society, no rich class, no poor class in a socialist society. In such a socialist society, all people enjoy the liberty, all people enjoy the rights. So, rights are available to all the people, and the society is a classless society. There are no rich classes, there are no poor classes. In such a society, all people will equally get the rights. All people perform the duties also equally. Rights and duties are equally distributed among the people. This is called as the socialist theory of rights or the Marxian theory of rights. Karl Marx has propagated this theory, and this theory is known as the Marxian theory of rights. Karl Marx is a great philosopher of 19th century, and he has also analyzed how the industrial revolution brought human misery in the lives of millions of poor people. Poor people become poorer and poorest, and they become destitutes, and they are exploited by the rich classes. As a result, rich people enjoyed the rights. rich people enjoyed the freedoms and poor people only performed the duties. The duties are performed by poor people. The rights and liberties are enjoyed by the rich people. So, to stop this, he has suggested a socialist revolution and establishment of a socialist society. Once a socialist society is established, then a classless society will be established, in which there are no two economic classes. All people are one class. That is called a classless society, where people enjoy the rights, people enjoy equality, people enjoy the freedoms equally. That is called as the Marxian theory of rights. And the other important theory of rights is the social welfare theory of rights. What is the social welfare theory of rights? After the Second World War, the state has got so much of power to do welfare to the people. In every society, there are people who suffered poverty, destitution, illiteracy, ill health, domestic violence. In many societies, certain groups are historically at a disadvantage. For example, in Indian society, the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, the other backward classes, they are historically at a disadvantage. So, it is the duty of the state to protect the historically disadvantaged people and provide them social justice. Social justice should be provided to all the people who suffered exploitation, who suffered maltreatment, who suffered inequality in the society. So, the social welfare theory of rights provides for the welfare to the people. So, unless welfare is given, the society cannot get social equality or economic equality. So, social welfare theory of rights brought us a new kind of a dimension to the discussion on rights with welfare concept. So, it is only the welfare that provides social justice to the depressed classes. Now, let us see what are the different kinds of rights. The rights are divided and classified into different types: the moral rights, the civil rights, the political rights, the economic rights, the human rights, the cultural rights, and various rights. See, what are the first right is moral rights. What are the moral rights of the people? The person's right to have respect in the society, the person's right to show sympathy towards others, the persons have the right to show moral values, human values towards others, the persons have the right to have friendship with others, sociability with others, social status in the society. These are some of the moral rights of the people. The moral rights of the people emanate from the moral value framework in the society, the human value framework in the society. The second type of rights are called civil rights. In a civil society, where we respect the laws, we enjoy certain rights. The rights that we are enjoying in a civil society are called as civil rights: the right to equality, the right to freedom, the right against exploitation, the right to religious freedom, the right to education. So, these are some of the civil rights that we have. And the third one is political rights. What are the political rights? Political rights indicate the share of the individual in the political system, in the political power. This is called as the political rights. What are political rights? The right to vote, right to contest in the elections, right to hold any office, either as a public employment or in political office in the state, right to criticize the government, right to make a demonstration against the government, right to express the dissent against the government, right to make interest aggregation or interest articulation. So, these are some of the political rights of the people. For example, the Indian Constitution, under Article 326 of the Constitution, Article 326 provides the right to vote to the people. All the people who has crossed the age of 18 years have the right to vote. They can enjoy the right to vote irrespective of class, caste, gender, religion, region, caste, region, color of the body, all people enjoy the rights. So, these are some of the political rights of the people: the right to vote, the right to contest in the elections, the right to hold any office in the state, right to criticize the government, right to write something, some books or criticize the government. These are some of the political rights. What are the economic rights? The economic rights mean right to get fair wages to the employment, the right to get fair wages to the labor that is rendered, the right to get salary, the right to property, the right to save something, the right to have share in the decision making in a factory. These are some of the economic rights of the people. And likewise, human rights. What are the human rights? As I am discussing it in the beginning of the class, the United Nations has brought a declaration in 1948 on December 10th, in which human rights are defined. Human rights include all the rights that are required for a human being to lead a life with dignity and self-respect are called as human rights. These include political rights, economic rights, social rights, cultural rights, all the various types of rights. All inclusive of rights is called as human rights. The rights that are required for a dignified living with self-respect are called as the human rights. United Nations has brought the human rights. And the sixth one is cultural rights. What are the cultural rights? Every individual has a religion, has a culture of his own, has a language, has a mother tongue. So, every individual has the right to protect the religion, protect the language, protect the culture. In fact, all the modern societies are the multicultural societies. So, in every society there exists multiple cultures. So, every individual has a right to preserve his culture, preserve his language, preserve his cultural values, cultural practices, festivals, garment pattern, food habits. So, these are called as the cultural rights of the people. And United Nations also brought the right to development. In every area, people have a right to development. So, friends, this is how rights are given in the constitutions. In some countries, the government or state provides the rights, and every right has a corresponding duty. Without duties, there are no rights. Rights and duties are the two sides of the same coin. Without rights, you cannot have duties. Without duties, you cannot have the rights. So, rights and duties coincide with each other, and there is a lot of significance to rights in the modern age, because modern age is an age of rights and freedoms. There are so many political revolutions in the modern age. So, all these revolutions have brought in so many rights: the political rights, the civil rights, the economic rights, the social rights, the legal rights, the cultural rights. These are various types of rights that are there in the modern day world. So, without rights, human existence is not possible, and human beings need to have these rights to live a life with dignity and self-respect. So, friends, rights are the important part of political science, and rights are the important political idea of modern political science. Thank you, friends. Thank you.